What is up, NFC North fans, or just fans of NFL football in general? We are back yet again to predict each and every division, starting with this one, who will win it, to all the way to who's going to come in last, with their total wins, etc. Last year, I correctly predicted 7 of 8 divisional winners. Would have been all 8 if not for these guys. Let's break down and get in depth with what's going on with each team in the NFC North. We'll look at what each team has done in the offseason, in the draft, free agency, and we'll predict each team's record, and we'll predict what they place in their respective divisions with their divisional record as well. Let's go! Usually we start off with whatever team got last in the division the year before, and that is the Chicago Bears. Last year they were 3-14. Not great. Yeah, that'll get you last in your division. They are plus 400 to win the North in this season, and their wins over under is at 7.5. Their additions are big playmakers like wide receiver DJ Moore, defensive tackle Andrew Billings, which is a very nice pickup, and mid linebacker Tremaine Edmonds. They also got the tight end Robert Tonyan from the Packers. Also, just the other day, they were able to pick up defensive end Yannick Ngakoue from the Colts. And this is a huge pickup along with the guys we mentioned. Usually, that's what you know Chicago for, is playing defense and being able to run. Well, the only thing they were able to do last year was run the football. But yeah, this is a huge pickup. Great move by Chicago. They've done nothing but great moves since the offseason has started. Their draft picks were pretty big too. I like the Darnell Wright pick. Realistically, picks from their first 4 to 5 rounds could all see a good amount to a lot of playing time this year. With the exception of Tyler Scott out of UC, unless someone goes down at wide receiver, maybe 2 or 3 guys go down at wide receiver. I love him. I'm a UC fan. But this wide receiver crew has gotten so much better from a year ago. Speaking of the wide receivers, their 3 starting wide receivers are DJ Moore, who we already talked about, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney. Mooney went from their only option to now probably their number 3 option, unless you think Claypool will be. Bears made emphasis to grab O and D linemen in the offseason with both free agency and the draft, and also obviously a wide receiver. Landing DJ Moore is very big for Justin Fields, I believe. So the team wins over under for the Bears is looking at 7.5, and I am looking at the under here, even though I love everything that they've done so far. But hey, even if you take that 3 wins and go to 6 wins, you double what you did last year. You gotta like it as a Bears fan. You don't have to love it, but I think you do gotta like that as a Bears fan. I have them comfortably at 7 wins, which is good for 3rd in the NFC North. Also 2-4 in the division. I think they would beat the Packers once, and I also have them beating the Lions once. Finishing 3rd place last year, the Green Bay Packers, who also now finally have a new quarterback at the reins. It was Aaron Rodgers' last season as a Packer before joining up with the New York Jets. So they lose Aaron Rodgers. They lose tight end Robert Tonyan to Chicago. They lost wide receiver Allen Lazard. He also went to the Jets. And they really didn't gain anything in free agency either. Their real only additions are in the draft. And I think the first 3 rounds of picks are going to play a lot. Jaden Reed from Michigan State, I'm a Michigan State guy, as you can see by this ball here, was an outstanding wide receiver at Michigan State. I think he will definitely help out the offense, Jordan Love, and the rest of the wide receiver core. The defense is where their advantage is. They're able to bring everybody back. Important guys like Jair Alexander, Rajul Douglas, Devondre Campbell, and Darnell Savage will be vital to keeping this team afloat when things are not going their way and not going right, and it's going to happen. This, to me, is Green Bay finally not getting to reap the benefits of having a legendary quarterback at the helm. I expect the run game and the defense to be good and even great at times, especially in those tough division games. This is where the Packers have a clear advantage over the rest of the division, is on defense. As to me, I think they're clear-cut the best defense in the division. And I also don't think the Packers as a whole offense will stink either. There will be times where they're not getting anything done, and they're not going to score as many points or be as efficient as they're used to seeing, and that's probably going to hurt some Packers fans this year. And some of the Packers fans wanted Rodgers gone. I have no fucking idea why, but hey, some did. This team realistically to me is not good enough to win 9 games. That's their ceiling to me, is a 9-8. Holy shit, we did it. Holy shit, we were able to be above 500 kind of season. But I've got them finishing last in the division. I got them at 6-11. I keep wrestling with 7-10. I could definitely see them being 7-10 or even 8-9 again if Jordan Love is even better than what we or I think. I have the Vikings sweeping them this year. Do think Jordan Love has a future. I do. But in terms of this year, man, they're not winning the division and going to the playoffs like they are used to doing. And that's going to be an adjustment for the Packers fans that they're just going to have to get used to. This is what every other team in the NFL deals with. Trust me, I know. Now on to the team in NFC North that has gotten all of the love, all of the buzz, even over the Vikings, the Detroit Lions. Detroit last year was 9-8. They were second in the North, just barely missed the playoffs. They are plus 140 to win the North. They have the best odds to win the North. All of these odds come from DraftKings, by the way. Wins over under is at 9.5. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I'm with that. Okay, some additions here from last year to this year. They were able to get wide receiver Marvin Jones, who has been in Detroit before, knows the system. Nice, solid veteran wide receiver. I loved when he was on the Bengals. Everywhere he's gone, he's been a good wide receiver. They signed quarterback Emmanuel Mosley to a 1-year deal from the 49ers. They also signed running back David Montgomery from the Bears. A huge deal considering they lost DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. And I guarantee he's going to want to run through all of Chicago both times. There's a lot of interdivisional mixing going on here. They also signed cornerback Cameron Sutton, who was with the Steelers the year before. They do lose DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, who made up for a ton of the offense and a ton of the touchdowns last year. People need to remember that. But they drafted this supremely talented Jahmyr Gibbs, who will probably be splitting the load with David Montgomery. I'm hearing that Gibbs is going to get the starting job, but I wouldn't be so sure if they don't just split everything. I don't know if that's as good as last year's running back duo either. I'm looking at Swift and Jamal Williams and thinking, that's big shoes to fill, even for two talented running backs like Montgomery and Gibbs. I mean, that's a lot of touchdowns and a lot of big plays to account for. They'll also be looking to tight end rookie Sam Laporta. Since they got rid of TJ Hawkinson, they gave the Vikings TJ Hawkinson. Young stud wide receiver Jameson Williams will also be suspended for the first 6 games due to the gambling ordeal, which means a whole new run game, a rookie tight end who we don't know for sure is going to pan out, and then you got St. Brown and an aging Marvin Jones Jr. to hold down the receiving core for those first 6 games. I would imagine it's going to take a little bit of time. They do have the luck of only having 1 division game during the Jameson Williams suspension, but the Chiefs and the Seahawks are their first 2 weeks. And you can't tell me they don't have a decent chance of starting 0-2 or 1-2, 1-3 maybe. I know Detroit Lions fans are going to hate hearing that. They do not want to hear that. But the Seahawks and the Chiefs, I would say, I would honestly favor them to beat you guys right now. Especially the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to beat you. And I don't fully buy into the hype of the Lions being the 3rd best team in the NFC. Like, a lot of people just automatically want to give that crown over to them. I'm not so willing to do that. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. Detroit's going to be a good football team. I have them in the playoffs. My predictions is they go 10-7, 3-3 in the division. They beat everybody once. They lose to everybody once in the division. 2nd in the NFC North. And now that obviously brings us to one remaining team, the Minnesota Vikings, to rule the North. Yep, you heard it first. The Vikings should be the favorites to win the division. They were 13-4 last year, and boy, they whipped some teams' asses. I mean, let's not sugarcoat this. They're a plus 275 to win the North right now. I think That is a wonderful bet. The wins over under is 8.5. I love the over here. And look, I know that they've lost pieces. I get it. But I think this whole wide receiver core is even better than last year because Hawkinson will have a full season with them. He kind of just came to the team on the fly. They were able to get cornerback Byron Murphy, came over from the Cardinals. He had 0 picks last year, but 4 the year before that, and the Cardinals just weren't good last year. They also grabbed up linebacker Marcus Davenport, came from the Saints. Also, defensive end Dean Lowry, who played 7 seasons with the Packers. 3 of their first 4 draft picks was on defense, as they know that the defense is the only thing keeping them down. The defense is ultimately what lost them in the playoffs. If they had a stout defense like the Niners or the Eagles or even the Cowboys, they would have beat the Giants. Or hell, even as good as the Giants defense. I mean, you have Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, and Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson add to your receiving team, who is the clear-cut best tight end in this division, not really even close as of right now, and that is such an advantage for them. If they can just be a little bit better on defense, they will absolutely win this division. And yeah, I know Dalvin Cook is gone. Alexander Mattison can run the ball too, though. We've seen time and time again over the years that Alexander Mattison has been able to step up and be a starting running back. And they were 27th in rushing attempts anyway last year. I don't think they will do it that much. I think they work the rest of the division, sweeping the Bears and the Packers this year, losing 1 to the Lions. So, I have the Vikings at 10-7, 5-1 in the division. So half of their wins coming from the division, and winning the North for their 2nd year in a row. So there you have it. The Vikings win the division, winning the tiebreaker against the Lions, winning more division games with a 10-7 overall record. I feel good about this. One of the reasons I feel great about this is because everyone and their moms are picking the Lions to win the division. And generally when that many people are on board on something, in the sports world, it's not going to happen. You know, fade the public. But what do you all think? Are you all over and on the Lions train as well in winning this division and being the 3rd best team in the NFC all of a sudden? They are a good football team. Do not get me wrong in any of this translation here. But I'm just not ready to crown them like everyone else is just yet. And that's the fun part about predictions, right? Every one of us going out on a limb to see who will be dead wrong or dead right. And it will be so much fun to go back to at the end of all of this. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I will see you in the next predictions video. Have a great day.